A podcast that I listened to called Invisibilia had an amazing episode this past March. It was all about this woman in Scotland named Joy Milne, who discovered that she had the ability to detect other people's diseases through smell. True story. I'm not making this up. Not only can Milne literally smell cancer or Alzheimer's or diabetes or other ailments, she can do so long before medical tests detect them. She can even tell which stage of disease a person is in. For example, Parkinson's progresses through 4 stages, from mild tremors in stage 1 to being unsafe living alone in stage 4. And Milne can smell them all. How crazy is that? It's like something out of an Oliver Sacks book. So Invisibilia reporter Elise Spiegel had this burning question to bring to Milne about her unlikely superpower, as Spiegel called it. How do you avoid despair? See, Spiegel had been doing a lot of interviews with climate scientists, and she was just starting to feel overwhelmed by the bleak inevitabilities that they were spelling out. Coastal flooding, more violent weather events, species extinctions, disrupted climate patterns leading to hunger, mass migration, and war. Spiegel figured that Milne also had a window into the future in this talent for sniffing out people's diseases. So Spiegel wanted Milne's advice. How do you avoid despair? How do you maintain hope when you can sense what may be coming in the lives of friends and loved ones? When you can foresee the ineluctable deterioration that awaits and there's nothing you can do? How do you keep going? In light of the election drama of the past week, this question has gained new relevance for me, as I imagine it has for many of you, regardless of your political leanings. Tuesday's vote has in many ways signaled a deepening rather than a resolving of our differences. Our government is as divided as ever. I went to bed Tuesday night profoundly depressed by this reality. More than ever, we and our leaders need to have respectful conversations, make compromises, and work together on the immense and urgent problems that face us. More than ever, we and our leaders are subject to political and social pressure not to do that. And the result seems inevitable. Nothing gets fixed, the status quo obtains, everybody loses. We as a society, as a species, lose. How do you avoid despair? How do you maintain hope when you can predict the inevitable and there's so little you can do about it? How do you keep going? Joy Milne was reticent to touch on that subject with Elise Spiegel. She takes a no-nonsense approach to her gift. As a policy, she doesn't volunteer to others what her nose detects, and she absolutely refuses to game out people's futures. So Milne referred Spiegel to a friend of hers who had actually been living with Parkinson's for some years. Her name was Allison Williams, and she had a remarkable story to tell. At 63, on a walk in the snow, she first noticed a drag in her footprints. And soon after that, a softening of her speech. When she got the diagnosis, she went into denial for about a year as her body lost strength and coordination. By the time she met and befriended Milne, her Parkinson's had advanced to where her speech was very hard to understand, her movements jerky, her posture bent over. Now, of course, Milne noticed these symptoms along with the distinctive odor that placed Williams's Parkinson's at a stage 3 on that 4-stage scale that I mentioned earlier. Shortly after that, though, something remarkable happened. Williams decided she was just done being a victim to this degenerative disease, and she was just going to live her life, as fully as possible. A flashy dressing, free-spirited type who believed in the power of words to cast spells on experience, Williams decided to tell herself, I'm not ill. I have a condition, and I'm not ill. She signed up for a dance class called Mature Latin Movers, followed by more dance classes, Tai Chi, a personal trainer, and finally the intensely aerobic Japanese art of taiko drumming. Now, all this activity took place during an 11-month period before Williams and Milne had occasion to get together again. When they did, Williams was noticeably stronger and more fluid in her movements, but it was the profound change in her smell that prompted Milne to get ethical permission to say something. Whatever it is you are doing, she told her friend, keep on doing it because it has brought your smell level from a high 3 right down to 1 since I saw you last. Let me be clear about this now. The point of this miraculous story is not to imply that diseases are somehow our fault or responsibility or within our control, and all you have to do is think differently to beat them back. Indeed, the long-term endgame of Williams' Parkinson's has not changed. What she has done is temporarily reversed some of its progress. The point really has to do with Spiegel's burning question, which is also maybe our burning question in this historical moment. How do you maintain hope? How do you keep going? Spiegel narrates, Williams gave me some practical advice about living with conditions, whether those conditions are Parkinson's or climate change or the potential death of democracy, whatever your particular flavor of terror happens to be. The trick, as I understand it, is not to focus so much on the outcome, but instead concentrate on the process. The question to ask was not, where will this end? But what is the next right thing to do? What time tonight does Mature Latin Movers start? Can I go to taiko drumming on Monday? What is the next right thing to do? What is the next right thing to do in your life? Can you nourish hope in that next right thing and let God take care of the big picture? In the book of Amos today, God warns the people of Israel that their religious offerings and festivals are not pleasing to God because they have perpetuated unjust inequities among themselves. Instead, God counsels them, they should let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. That day when justice will roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream may seem very far away to us, may even seem like it's getting further away all the time. So like the wise bridesmaids of Jesus' parable, let us focus on the little actions that fill our oil flasks. What small step can we take now to prepare us for God's wedding feast? however far away it may be? What decisions can we execute to give us pleasure and hope in our day-to-day lives? What is the next right thing to do? Amen.